I want to share an important patient story. It's a powerful reminder of why second opinions matter, and also why I wrote my book, The Lucky Egg. This is about Sarah. I've obviously changed her name, but this is my actual patient who came to me at 37. She was already years into her fertility journey. She had been trying to conceive since 2021. And after her IUD was removed, they started trying. And after a while, they got tested in HSG, partner semen analysis. Nothing obvious stood out. They did 5 rounds of medicated IUI with no success. And then came IVF. She actually responded really well, had great reserve, got 27 eggs and 4 healthy PGT normal tested embryos. FET number 1 was done with a cryo-natural approach and was not successful. So then they did an endometrial biopsy and did the ERA test. And based on the results, they adjusted the progesterone duration by a significant amount and then tried another cryo-natural prep for FET number 2 and was not successful. For transfer number 3, they did a medicated approach and used both oral and intramuscular progesterone, not successful, and then took a pause and did yet another endometrial biopsy, this time for the Receptiva test, and they found the BCL6 marker was positive, diagnosed her with silent endometriosis, and she ended up having a laparoscopy and a hysteroscopy with the DNC, was diagnosed with very mild stage 1 endometriosis. At the time of the laparoscopy, they said the tubes looked normal, they put dye through them, and she ended up doing Lupron to downregulate her cycle. She couldn't remember if she did 1 or the 3-month Lupron depot shot, and then afterwards, after that wore off, did a cryo-natural frozen transfer and still had no success. So that's when they came to me. At 37, she felt broken, like her body just couldn't hold on to these embryos, even though they were PGT normal and appeared to be perfect. So here's what we did. We took a step back and I said, let's look at everything with fresh eyes. And here's what I saw. A lot of add-ons, a lot of assumptions. I ended up doing a complete workup of all the things that I thought might have been missed. I even did vaginal cultures. I looked for markers of insulin resistance, and all of this came back normal. So then we set out to do IVF because we needed to make more embryos. And she did really well, even years later, made 6 beautiful euploid embryos, of which 5 were high quality based on how they looked under the microscope. And then I did something that I don't see getting done often enough. I re-imaged her uterus. And yes, she had had a prior HSG early in her journey and then even a hysteroscopy later on, but no repeated imaging since the last set of biopsies prior to the last few transfers. During her stimulation cycle for the egg retrieval, we actually did a saline sonogram during one of the monitoring visits and found moderate adhesions throughout the top of the uterine cavity. Now, this could have been interfering with implantation all along. After she underwent hysteroscopic removal of these adhesions, we transferred one of the new embryos 2 cycles later, using a simple medicated approach with just oral and vaginal progesterone with standard duration in the lead up to transfer. The transfer was done on the 6th day of progesterone supplementation. And guess what? She got pregnant. She's now in her late 2nd trimester, going strong. So what do I think made the difference? Well, maybe it was finally addressing those adhesions, which we don't really know exactly where they came from. Maybe it was skipping the ERA, which, by the way, I've never used in my practice. The evidence just doesn't support it, and I explain why in my book. Maybe it was the lab quality, the fact that we had new embryos cultivated in a different IVF lab. It was a clean slate. There is a whole section in the Lucky Egg book on when things don't go as planned and how to troubleshoot. And it's full of lessons like this case teaches us. What tests matter, what might be leading you further from success, not closer, and how to choose the right clinic, what red flags to look out for. And most importantly, when to go back to the basics, because often it's not about doing more, it's about doing what's actually needed. And you have to have the right eyes on the case. If you're in the thick of it, or if you feel like you've tried everything and you still don't have the answers, I hope that my book, The Lucky Egg, will be exactly what you need and provide the support and answers you're looking for.